Looks interesting.
Sharing with us. Good work. I will say, most of those ideas were Miriam. She helped us think of the visitors.
Well, the two of you are done my team.
I think they're coming in line after.
Oh, no. Okay.
You want me to start and then you can David?
That would be easier for my brain because I'll just
Good. Good. You want me to do you? Okay.
Okay. Oh, you go.
Okay, we're going to get started soon. We're just double checking our numbers for a quorum. So as you get something to eat and settle down, we'll get started here in just a moment.
No, neither of us were married. We were married 38 years and then we divorced 6 years.
I was married for 50 years when my husband died, but the last 20 years, I moved out and we lived separately, but we didn't have a divorce, which is perfect.
There you go. That worked for you.
Yeah. That's what looks good to me.
Yeah. It does,
And
yeah.
that bread, did you ever get any of that bread over there? It's delicious.
No, I haven't.
It's really good.
You got cucumber and tomato.
Every time.
There we go.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. I can confirm that we've reached a quorum, so we are good to go. If there's anyone watching online, we have a couple folks monitoring the chat, so if there's any technical issues, please feel free to let us know through the chat, and we'll get those addressed as quickly as possible. I would like to welcome everybody to this meeting today, and thank you all for being here or attending online as we do the important business on our agenda today. I'm going to go ahead and start with a chalice lighting. Chris was going to light it. Where'd Chris go?
Oh, sorry.
Oh. This is a reading called Towards Constructive Joy. We light this chalice in a spirit of thoughtful joy. Not the joy that avoids difficulty, but the joy that dares to create. Bertrand Russell wrote that happiness does not come from passive amusement, but from the deep well of meaningful work, from the effort to build, to think, to serve something greater than oneself. Today, we gather to do just that. In this annual meeting, we make choices not only about budgets and bylaws, but about the future we imagine and the responsibilities we are willing to share to bring that future closer. May the flame we kindle now remind us, even in mundane motions and messy amendments, there is the quiet courage of community. There is the possibility of happiness earned not by escape, but by engagement. Right, and you all will have noticed as you came in, we're trying something a little different this year. We are working towards going paperless for these meetings as much as possible. So we're test running some online and digital options. We'll be collecting some feedback after the meeting on how those went for everyone and kind of fine-tuning it as we move forward. So as we go, you'll see, I believe on the next slide, we'll go ahead and click over. Oh, one more, please. Can you click one more? Okay. There will be a QR code up here where you can access all of the documents in full for everything that we're voting on. If you received a paper ballot, there's also QR codes on there, and we'll have codes for an online ballot as well. If anyone is able to vote online rather than on paper, we're asking that you do that to save our counters some time and to make everything go a little more smoothly and easy to count. So we're test running it. There may be some hiccups. We're trying everything we can think of right now, and we will correct and make adjustments as we move forward. So we appreciate everyone's patience as we try something new. We'll just leave the slide right there because I am going to hand this over. I'm going to hand this over to Lynn for a moment to review a covenant with us before we get started.
A little bit of a height difference there. If we can bring the covenant up, please. Oh, you've got one. Okay. So one of the things that the board did this year was develop a board covenant and how we behave with one another during our time of our meetings. We have a congregational covenant, and it's a beautiful document, but it's very long and very wordy. So in the spirit of time, we're going to use this condensed version that the children use in RE. And if you're wondering what is a covenant, it's an agreement for ways that we act on our principles so that we make the space as safe and welcoming and fun as possible. So our covenant with our time today, together today is to show respect for all, be kind and fair, participate and encourage each other, share, listen, and take turns, include everyone, settle disagreements in peaceful, caring ways, take care of each other, our space, and our world, and to challenge racism and oppression wherever we find them. Thank you.
Okay, did we get our slideshow back up? No. Okay. coming. Okay. All right, we're going to start going over some of the items that are going to be on our ballot. The first item is the meeting minutes from the mid-year congregational meeting in January. Were there any questions or corrections that anyone found for those minutes? All right, I will move that we approve those minutes. Can I get a second? Rich, thank you. You were the first one I saw. All right. The next thing are the two charters. As a brief reminder, in January, the congregation approved a bylaws change that those two charters, in addition to endowment fund, which is already set up this way, would be approved by the congregation as opposed to by the board, because program council co-chairs and leadership development committee are congregation elected positions. So we presented those charters in January. We also held a forum last month to answer any questions or review those. So those are back on the ballot for approval today. Let's see, so I will again motion that we approve those two charters. Can I get a second for that one, please? Anybody? Thanks, Gordon. All right, and I'm once again going to pass over to Lynn to discuss the bylaws addition that we have on the ballot today.
Hello again. One of the newer commitments and action steps of being a UUA welcoming congregation is to include an affirmation and non-discrimination clause in our church bylaws and other official documents affecting all dimensions of congregational life, including membership, hiring practices, and the calling of our religious professionals. After receiving feedback from an advisory panel comprised of select members of both the Welcoming Congregation Program and the Beloved Community Program, as well as comparing our drafts with examples provided by the UUA from other congregations, the board has drafted the following addition to our bylaws for consideration by the congregation. Hello, there we go. It would become Section 1, Article 4, titled Welcome, Inclusion, Affirmation, and Non-Discrimination. And it would read, TVUUC is committed to fostering a climate of purposeful inclusion of all people. We value all diversity, including racial and cultural identity, nationality, sexual orientation, gender identity and its expression, religious background and belief, marital status, family structure, age, ability, education, and class status. All are welcomed and encouraged to share in the life, leadership, ministry, worship, and responsibilities of our church. The foregoing shall apply to all church activities and inform all of its decisions, including its membership requirements, employment decisions, and its calling, installation, and retention of its ministers.
Okay, so that bylaws change was reviewed by the Welcoming Committee and other groups like Lynn just let you know, and has been approved by the board. So that is available for voting on the ballot as well. And next up, we have Eddie to present our nomination slate for us.
All right, before we begin, I'd like to request that any nominations from the floor be held back until the end. Also, we did not fill the program council co-chair position this go-round. Because of all the structural changes that happened in the program council recently, and also what's planned for the next church year, we decided, and the job description's slowly evolving on there too. It's something different than what we were working with, and so we're going to address that come the midterm. Now, as far as nominations, first we have the president. Maddie is the nominee Maddie Culpa. Maddie's the current president of the congregation, and she's finishing up her first year. According to the new bylaws that we have, she's able to run for 3 successive terms. Vice President, nominee Lynn Hickson. Lynn is the current VP and on the board and is finishing up his 2nd term. According to the most recent bylaws, a vice president can also run for up to 3 successive terms. Board Secretary, nominee Bill Cherry. Bill has been an active member since 2008 and has worn many hats at TVUUC. He has been board treasurer twice and even served as the church administrator for 2.5 years. Bill brings a wealth of institutional knowledge to the board. Board member at large, nominee Jennifer Fowler. Jennifer has been a member since 2015. She has served as a worship associate and led worship during Disability Pride Month. She and her partner, MJ Aiken, were married in this church. Jennifer retired as the chief counsel for the Department of Energy in Oak Ridge. Board member at large, nominee Ori Weaver. If you see someone in the sanctuary with 4 or 5 kids hanging on them, good chance that's Ori. Ori has been part of the UU community since the age of 12, first in Chattanooga and now at TVUUC. If it were not for him managing the auction event, we wouldn't be having one. Interim board member at large, nominee Seema Singh. Seema was a member of the UU Fellowship of Suffolk County on Long Island in 2003 for 7 years, serving as treasurer and board member before moving back to Knoxville. She is currently involved with the Beloved Community Program and is a member of the Leadership Development Committee. She also served for 8 years as my Knoxville City Council representative. Leadership Development Committee member, nominee, Awan Castaneda. Awan practically grew up at TVUUC. He has been an active RE volunteer and a founder of the Rebuilding Young Adults group. Over the years, he has participated in services as a speaker and musician on many occasions. And he also just recently graduated with a BS degree in neuroscience. Leadership Development Committee member, nominee Dylan Brown. Dylan has attended TVUUC since last May and has been an active member of the Beloved Community Program since then. He and his wife Madison are looking forward to being more involved with opportunities to help support our church. Leadership Development Committee Rising Chair, nominee Crystal Bradshaw. Prior to coming to Tennessee, Crystal attended Westminster UU Church in Rhode Island for 10+ years, and where she served in various roles. She joined TVUUC in 2023 and is part of the church choir, strategic planning, and the Welcome Committee. Endowment Fund Committee member, nominee Taylor Thomas. Taylor is currently finishing his term on the Endowment Committee. However, the committee has deemed him to be an integral part of the team and had asked him to stay on. You remember, he was also the chair of our stewardship committee in 2020 and 2021 during the height of the pandemic. Endowment Fund Committee member, nominee Kent Looney. Kent is a recently retired U.S. park ranger. Now he has more time. Kent is interested in getting more involved with the church. He's often seen helping Barbara Lamb with groundskeeping, such as tree and stump removal. He's also a volunteer with my favorite Sunday coffee. Those are the 11 nominees on this year's ballot. At this time, I'm asking if there are any nominations from the floor for these 11 positions that we just went over. I'm going to give it about 30 seconds because there's supposed to be a delay from what we hear here and what they hear online. Is it close to 30 seconds, you think? One last thing, I want to thank all the volunteers who are completing their terms this June. You all have given a gift back to the church that money can't buy, your precious time. Thank you.
All right, and the next thing we have is our budget, so I'm going to pass it over to Steve and Jillian. Thanks.
Thanks, and thanks to all of the people who have volunteered to be elected up for the new officers. It's always a bit of work. Let's see, I think we've got this budget kind of broken up into about 7 slides, so it's a lot easier to read than in previous years. So the first slide is basically the revenue side of things, giving and pledges and things like that. So most of all of the numbers are pretty much similar to last year or based on current trends. We've been kind of going over all the trends in giving and generosity Sunday contributions. Those have been going up actually compared to what we had budgeted last year. So we pretty much followed along for that. The only thing that's more significantly different is building rentals. We expect that to go up with some new rates and policies and so forth. That's something we felt we could do to kind of increase revenues for the church. Going to slide 2, which is mostly buildings and grounds. Utilities have gone up quite a bit. Last year's budget was $24,000. This year we're budgeting $32,000. That has to do mostly with the increase in electricity rates, gas rates, and things like that. KUB buys natural gas on the spot market, so and natural gas rates have gone up 30%. So in the winter, our bills go up quite a bit. We were able to compensate quite a bit for that for grounds upkeep, which is basically kind of the mowing and trimming and so forth. We found a new vendor that was able to significantly decrease what we were paying over last year. The other big increase is property insurance, which basically doubled over our budgeted amount last year from about $8,000 to $16,000. We're trying to shop that around, but there's not a lot, sometimes not a lot of providers for churches there. So overall buildings and grounds went up about 10% compared to last year. Going on to the next slide, operations. These are things like overall expenses, printing, kitchen supplies, food, things like that. And that was pretty much left as the same as last year, so no real significant changes there. Moving on to the 4th slide, if they're caught up there. These are all the programs. So we went to, well, I guess the first thing that you'll notice is the UUA fair share dues. We had not been an honor congregation for many, many, many years. And in the interest of balancing the budget, it was determined what we would do is basically there's no real benefit to being halfway to an honor congregation. So for now, we've zeroed that out, but the plan is to review that quarterly in conjunction to how we're doing and basically bring in and basically contribute what we can as we go along through the year. And we've talked to the UUA about that, had a good conversation. They understand the situation that we're in, and they seem to be very accepting of the position that we're in. So more on that as we kind of go through every quarter. For the rest of the programs, we met with all of the various different program committee groups, kind of asked them, hey, it's getting to be kind of a tough year. Are you spending all the money that you had last year? Are there places that you can make cuts and things like that? And everyone was very helpful in, kind of coming up with some new budgets and reductions that helped us get to our required balanced budget. And again, this is something that we are going to leave open. So if a particular program comes partway through the year and needs some additional funding, the door is open depending on, kind of where we are going through the year. The next slide, salary and wages. We're basically going to be basically the same as last year. We don't have space in the budget for any salary increases, so Most of that's going to be pretty much the same as last year. And then the last slide is just kind of the, regular independent contractors, video production, things like that. We've been managing to hold those costs kind of level steady. As we were going through, and I'm not sure if the slides got updated, when we did the totals for the programs, we had a mathematics error in one of the last budgets, and so we actually have a net surplus currently in the budget of $7,000. So that goes partly to the way of, either more programs, a fund for, more programs to come back for more if they need it, or for us to get to that first UUA contribution. So that's it. Any questions? Go ahead.
If we were able to pay for our UUA contributions.
Go.
I'll bring our microphone around for everyone so the online folks can hear as well.
What would be the total if we were able to pay for our UUA contributions?
You mean what's the level to be in on our congregation?
Yes.
Last year it was around 42,000. I'm not sure what it is. 32,000? Oh, okay. I thought it was 40.
Is this on? Okay. Yeah, it's actually 32,000 is what we would technically be doing if we were doing our full fair share. Currently, we have been doing 18,000, so 4,500 per quarter. And so that is what we will aim for, and in full support of the UUA. It was a really very productive conversation that we had with them the other day, and very transparent communication with them, which they appreciated. So that was really good.
I don't think it's on. Yeah.
Could I see the income page once more?
Sure. All right.
Okay, so this is news to me that we are not having an auction, nor have we had a rummage sale. And while those are important income generators, they're also good community builders. So I just wonder what the reasoning is about that. I guess I'm lamenting the loss, especially of the auction.
The auction is not ending. That is not even part of the conversation right now. Maddie was mentioning that if it hadn't been for Ori and other volunteers this past year, the auction wouldn't have happened. But no, there's no plan to remove the auction at all. So just to clarify that.
Which number in the budget is that?
It's under fundraising events,
Yeah.
410-102. So that's the rummage sale and the auction and anything else, I think.
And
that's it.
other smaller
ones,
fundraising
yeah.
opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah, previous budgets had shown everything itemized and what we expect from auction and what we expect from rummage and so on. So it's just all lumped together now under fundraising.
Yes, it was around 14,000 that we did this past year. And as for the rummage sale, we haven't taken that off the plate. We're just looking at other alternatives of how we can do that where it's not quite as high maintenance for the volunteers that are doing it.
Okay, Jeff is next.
Yeah.
I have two comments, which I'm not questioning anything in the budget, but one suggestion I have, which I think would make the congregation better aware of what's going on financially. I know the board gets, at least it used to get, an update on the budget for every meeting. I think it would be valuable if quarterly the congregation got a report on the budget and the expenditures, the real expenditures and the real receipts, which would give us a better idea of exactly how we're doing. This is something the Long Range Planning Committee about 20 years ago suggested. But I would suggest that would help the congregation understand what's going on financially. My second suggestion is, there's the budget, and then there are a number of special funds. There's a music fund, there's a helping fund, there may be others that I'm not aware of. And I think it would be useful, at least annually, if not quarterly, for there to be a report of, well, this is what we have in the helping, this is what we have in the helping funds. And if it's going near zero, maybe people would be motivated to donate to it. I know we do it at Christmas, but and if there were more awareness of these special funds, then there might be people who would be motivated to donate to one or more of them in addition to their pledges. And I know there's a tension between special funds and pledges and the endowment, but a fuller financial picture, I think, would help the congregation understand what's going on. So those are, you know, I'm not moving anything, I'm just putting it in your, you know, in the air so that people might do this as a, I think it's important information. If we are a congregation, and if we are a democratic congregation, we ought to have information. And financial information is one of the most important things.
No, I completely agree.
Yeah, I was going to say, one of the things we used to do is we used to post it out on the bulletin board in the bulletin board area, and I don't think there's any reason we couldn't go back to doing that.
With the website and the newsletter, it could be disseminated in that way.
Yeah, I could do that. There's a lot of stuff in the newsletter.
Well, and Rob and I've actually been talking about that, and we've been working with Michael as well on how we could do that. We already are in conversation about doing exactly that, on having no less than quarterly reports, but Rob said that it may even be something that if we're seeing some pretty drastic changes, that we do even a monthly. And so yes, I 100% agree with you that those are necessary to maintain that transparency with the congregation.
Just trying to make sure I understand what's going on. The office administrator line, other salaries have remained the same. This one has risen in the budget from 33,236 last year to 39,503 this year. So
yeah, so I think we're looking at having Michael's responsibilities are such that he's interested in coming on full-time and utilizing him full-time. So I think that's where that's coming from. Yep.
Yeah, that's where the difference is. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That is correct, yes.
Did anybody make a,
Yep, can hear you.
anybody make a motion to accomplish the visibility of the budget? Or did we just talk about it?
Not sure.
Have we made a motion yet? We haven't made a motion yet. We're discussing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We will.
Yeah, it'll be. Yeah, it's voted on, just like everything else. Yeah.
At the last board meeting, we were looking at a shortfall, and it was discussed to zero out our contribution to UUA this year and to use $35,000 of a $50,000 behest to balance the budget. Is that still where we are at this point?
To zero out, I don't know.
Yeah, no, we were able to zero out the budget without looking that upcoming bequest is still not formalized, still not, certain things. So we didn't want to depend on that in the budget.
So how was it balanced then?
There's been, the main thing was, of course, zeroing out the UUA. We did find savings in the grounds upkeep. That was a big improvement there, and of course, not having any staff salary raises, unfortunately.
So we did it by not giving raises?
That was part of the mechanism. Yeah, that's one of the variables. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
In the revenue section, the Generosity Sunday contributions, I don't have the exact number, it's substantially increased from last year's budget. Since I don't think it's a matter of smoke and mirrors, it must be something else.
No, it's,
what is intended?
yeah, it's actually looking at the current, we kind of going forward from our, so we had our budget from last year, and the budget from last year was, I think it was around 10,200.
Yeah.
We are actually year to date at about 13.5, so we're seeing higher numbers in those Generosity Sunday contributions. So if you project that forward, then that comes up to that figure that we have in the new budget. Yeah.
Follow-up question. It is not the intention to have more Sundays be Generosity Sundays? No.
It's not changing, yeah. Good question.
Jillian, were you able to inventory all of the special funds, what was in them, and what they are being used for at the moment?
We're still in the process of reviewing all the restricted funds to make sure that they are still active funds. So it's something that that's the next thing that we're going to be looking at, is figuring out what each of those funds are and whether they are still valid at this time period. So that's a work in progress.
Have you any estimates so far?
No, not right now.
I would say the last time we looked at it, from a dollar perspective, I mean, a vast majority from a dollar amount are kind of known and active and so forth. A lot of them are just trying to figure out where we are. Some reserve fund that has maybe $130 left in it, trying to figure out where that is. But it's the things that we really have to look at are probably, from a dollar perspective, not a big total. Any others? Any other questions?
They're checking the online right now to see if there's any online
Oh,
questions.
okay, great. Oh, right. Hello to all of you out there in the internet. Oh, I got one.
I'm looking at the 410-213 Interest Southeast Bank CDs. Why would we keep that if all we're getting is nothing?
I believe it's that those CDs have already been redeemed, I think, right? Or are going to be redeemed.
At this point, yeah, and so we're keeping them there because they have been projected as zero in the past few years, and we've had funds in them, and so we kept that line item there just for the time being. Yeah, we're not pulling the money out right now. It's just if we do, then we have to have it reflected. So.
Stock market would be better than that.
Yeah, I mean, right now, if what's in there, 50 or how much is in there? I think it's around 4. It's gone down to about a little under 3.8%, I think, right now. So I think it's 50 maybe or something like that. So yeah, so that would be whatever that works. If it was in there for the whole year, it would work out to about 2,000. That would again be that kind of thing we can review mid-year and say, oh great, we've got more money for UUA or whatever. So.
He was asking what the maturity date is on the CD.
Yeah, we can look. I have that off the top of my head. Yeah.
Until maturity, then you get the money.
Yes.
And if you close it out before then, cash it in, then you get the money, but you have to pay a penalty. So maybe the straight answer to the question is you don't see the income from it until it matures.
Yes.
And then it's,
Thank you. We have one question online so far, and the question was about the $1,000 budget in the kitchen. And so we usually always have that budget there because it needs to compensate for the coffee and other Sunday budgets. So far, we have had the ability to balance that cost with donations that are provided at the coffee table. And so that's something, though, that has not changed, it hasn't increased, and it also has not decreased.
Jillian. Is there a factor for the endowment fund to contribute anything toward, especially the reserve?
I'm sorry, say that one more time, sir.
Have you made any proposal or type of arrangement for the endowment fund to make contributions to the reserve when necessary?
So right now, there's not a mechanism for that. So the way generally something would work, if someone were to make a gift, say in their will, for example, if they specify the endowment fund, that will generally go into the endowment. If they don't specify and say, I'm just giving it to the church, generally that gift will be split between the two funds.
That I understand, but many organizations of this type do have a facility to move funds from endowment to general budget with some limiting percentage, say 5%.
And that is something that was highlighted in this stewardship for us conversation when Sarah was talking to the congregation about the endowment fund. And that's something that those are conversations that that are open and that I plan on having with the endowment committee. And so that's an ongoing conversation. And I look at Rich right now because, we're going to be talking about that.
Hey, Nora.
I'm coming.
All right.
Okay, I just have a question that kind of piggybacks on Beauvais' question. Do we need to start thinking about a capital fund drive? The question is, I hate to see our church not part of the UUA, and I'm wondering, the other question in my mind is, will we have a committee to find someone to do the rummage sale? And $28,000 for fundraising, that's not much money. And you're thinking of, and we're looking at, let's see, what is it, the auction? 26, the year's 26, 27, that's not much money.
So I know that for Elnora's first question about the capital campaign, yes, that is something that we will need to do. It's not something that we're ready for yet, but it is something that we want to have part of the strategic visioning, and all of that has been a really important part of getting us to that point that we are ready, because we all need to have our ducks in the row before we are able to actually present something like that, because we can't just rely on this congregation for that. That's something that we need to be looking in other areas as well. And so that is an ongoing conversation, and yes, within the next 5 years, I would love to see us having a proper capital campaign. And capital campaigns are generally no less than $1 million and generally more. And so that's something that is an important thing to look forward to. Yes, the UUA, that is also something that we do want to have a part, rummage sale. It was the rummage sale. And yes, that's an ongoing conversation as well about how we are managing all of our fundraising opportunities that are smaller versus the capital campaign. And so we will be working with individuals and presenting more information on how we plan to address that, so that we do have more support for all of our volunteers that are coming through all of our fundraising and all those activities.
Yes, this is sort of directed at Jillian because you see requests and so on. I wondered what improvements might, to the sanctuary, for example, or the building, might bring in more funds for rentals. One thing we've talked about in the past is replacing these temporary cameras by a video system. And I wonder, you're new here and you've gotten to see a lot of activity. what your view is on potential for increasing our income.
Those are conversations that I've had with a lot of different people because I think it does impact multiple committees and groups and staff. Catherine and I have talked about the upgrading of the classrooms. And so that room A looks lovely right now, and we should have some sort of flow throughout the rest of the classrooms as well. We have various areas in the fellowship hall that need to be addressed. Our lights, which we're working on over the summertime, so don't worry. Our next complaints are going to be how bright it is in the fellowship hall. And so these are all small little things that we're trying to address. I have to say that and Dick will talk about this in the building and grounds, but just having our work days have been fabulous in getting our spaces looking so beautiful because we want people to know that it's wonderful from the moment they step on campus. And so we've got some really wonderful things that are happening. It's just a slow progress. And all of us picking up after each other and all of us cleaning dishes when we're done. And it's just something that we do as a community and that we will continue to address. Kitchen is going to be one of those areas that we're going to be addressing because that's one of the bigger problems right now.
One of my character flaws is that I love to catch people out. And I don't know if this is the time to say this, but it's probably as good as any. I have been unable to catch you out. You hit the ground running here, and today you've found enough money that we found $13,000 or $14,000. You found $13,000 or $14,000. I just deeply appreciate your work and how you came in and said, "Oh, I'm going through the budget line by line." I just really deeply appreciate your work.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We got some more back here. While he's doing that, I did look up the CDs. They all of them mature in mid-September. So.
Okay. What do we have in the budget, or what kind of plans do we have for cleaning in the building and building maintenance inside? I'm just curious.
Yeah, so we have a line item for building cleaning services. Currently, that's an outside firm that comes in and does regular cleaning of the building. Anything else we want to add on that? Or, yeah.
No, and so we have, the outdoor services in order to do that. We have not, so I don't want to say too much, mostly because this is all still a work in progress. I do think that we could eventually get to a point where we actually have a staff member who is specifically for building and grounds, and that is their primary focus, is doing all of that work, which means that we eliminate those outside resources. But that's not something that we're currently ready for and that we could actually move toward. You have to find the right person for it. And John is so wonderful, and he's able to do so many of these things for us. You.
Yeah.
And it gets to a point, and I think John will be one of the first ones. There are limitations of what he's able to do. There are certain things that he doesn't have the capability to do. There's things that I can't do. I can certainly plunge that toilet, but there's electrical work that you don't want me messing with the electrics. That's not going to happen. But, it's something, too, that this is an ongoing process in order to address all of these things.
John is still in the budget.
We had an online question. How much is in the capital reserve fund, and did the board rescind the requirement to add $2,000 a year to that?
So I think the current fund is around 70 or something like that. So around 70,000 like that. We have not, over the last 2 years, added to it in the interest of kind of doing the balanced budget and such. But we're hoping maybe, along the way, maybe when some gifts come in and so forth, we'll be able to push that up. But we've been shepherding that remaining amount for quite a bit. If you recall, 2 years ago, we kind of took some money out of it to balance the budget and made the commitment not to do that again, that was a one-time thing, and we've been able to keep that way. Otherwise, it would be nearly zero right now. So, a good question.
On my way.
Yeah, I have the advantage and disadvantage of having last year's budget in my file, so I pulled it up and looked at it. Under expenses, the property insurance is 510,109 property insurance. Last year's, current year budget was budgeted for $8,000. In the new proposal, it's double that. What's up?
That's the insurance industry, unfortunately. A lot of insurance companies, everything's raked up based from claims, based from increase in perceived property values or replacement values of buildings and things like that. I know my home property insurance shot up about a similar amount, and I don't know about everybody else, but we are definitely shopping that around to see if we can get a better deal. Absolutely.
If we have other questions that are pertinent to ask so that we could move forward with the vote, because we are running behind schedule, if there are other questions, I highly recommend you set up a time and talk with me. I would love to sit down and talk with you. I've had many conversations with folks in this room, and I'd be happy to go over. If you have ideas or concerns, then please do come and chat with us. So yeah.
Okay. All right, Lynn, will you get your big flashy timer? We are going to break for 10 minutes. If we can get if you're able to vote online, we would love for you to do that to save us some time and effort. There's also a QR code on your paper agenda for the ballot. If you have a paper ballot, we've got a couple baskets that are going to come down to collect those. We're going to break for 10 minutes to get those filled out and gathered, and then we'll come back for some presentations while the votes are counted. So we're going to break for 10. Grab a snack if you need it. Paper ballots in the baskets. I think Bella has one back in that corner, and Carol has one up here. So, all right, thank you.
Remember when that came up? Steve, is that right? Yes. I think we revisited that. We definitely revisited
If you still have a paper ballot in your hand, if you'll stick it up in the air and wave it so we can get it collected, please. Anybody left? Oh, got one in the corner. All right.
Jeff. It works, thank you.
Nobody pays attention.
Cookie sandwich.
Thank you for bringing microphone.
My pleasure.
Well, there was no way I could get up and get to the other one.
Yes.
I'm cramming another one of yours. Okay.
And I have the order. I
just have one side that has all four of your names on it. That's it. I want you to know.
Did you make the lemon bars?
Are you looking for the counters? I sent them to Lizzie, where they always go.
My
They're
grandmother
Lizzie.
loved lemon
I didn't know. Okay.
She made them all the time, and they never came out the same twice.
I thought with this, I thought I didn't put enough water, you know, so I found a way.
I tasted it.
I know, we talked about this last time. I was like, you know, I'm trying to.
No, they were
I
really
like
good.
it.
The way.
Charge, not sweet.
Exactly.
I know, I love it, you know, like,
No, I enjoyed it.
if people leave it there,
But we
I'll
are,
be
we are
okay.
how to make it work more the way that it's meant to be. Mary hates me as fact about this before we even started.
Oh, isn't that fun? Corey is the bread maker. It's fun. He makes he makes all our sourdough.
If they
So
had
I've
questions ahead of time.
everyone.
How many did?
But he is our bread maker, so yeah, I love it. I'm glad because I could not add one more thing to my life. So. Yeah, but I'll eat bread.
We're talking about it. Yeah. I know. And I attached it to the meeting minutes every day last year, and everyone was still asking me where the finances were, and that they are in the minutes. No one-
Our 10-minute break is
So,
concluding.
some of it's
If
on the
everyone
people.
can please find your seats, we'll have some presentations.
Okay, so while our ballots are being counted, we're going to hear some updates from leadership, some of our committees. I'm going to start just reporting a quick recap of some of the things that the board has worked on and accomplished this year, mostly in list format, so it may not be terribly interesting, but we'll see. One of the first things that we did was we collaborated as a board to write the board covenant that we shared at the congregational meeting in January. We were honored to be part of Claudia's retirement celebration and also thrilled to welcome Jillian into our church family this year. We participated in the consultation with Reverend Sarah Green and look forward to sharing her report with the congregation in the coming months, in addition to the results from the visioning that's been facilitated by the Strategic Planning Committee. We were happy to revive the Building and Grounds Committee this year, as well as confirming the charter of the Right Relations team. And while we were unable to sponsor the rummage sale in its traditional form this year, we are excited for the formation of a new fundraising team that will help us imagine a new way to host a rummage sale in the future. We approved and coordinated the transfer of a very special piece of pottery by Charles Counts from its home in our Lizzie Crozier French Room into the loving arms of the curators at the McClung Museum, where they will take very special care of it. As a side note, if anyone is interested in that, it is available for special viewing by members of our congregation. So if you didn't know we had it and would like to go look at it, as staff availability allows, you can visit McClung and ask to see it until it's on display, or before it's on display. We also worked with the communication team to launch a new way to submit announcements and newsletter items, and also with the Program Council to support their new section of our website. Next year, I hope to keep the momentum that we've started this year towards creating smoother processes for the things that we do here, updating our policies and procedures to mesh with our current reality, because lots of things have changed over the years and we haven't always kept up with some of the ways that we do things. And also using our visioning data and the results from Stewardship for Us to help confirm our church's highest priorities and come up with a good path that we all feel good about moving forward. So that's just a brief update of what we've been up to this year. Last year I did say I was going to start a president's column. I started it as a blog, didn't get a lot of traction, so we are also I am going to revisit the way to do that, to keep, in addition to posting minutes, keep everybody updated with the work that the board is doing in a similar fashion to what we've talked about with finance. So that's on the table. So that's all I have. I'm going to turn it over to our management team one by one. I don't know who's starting. Is it Jillian? All right, and they're going to give us an update of what they've been doing this year as well.
I don't think I understood the assignment, so bear with me. I've been thinking back to a year ago when I found myself talking with friends and family about how frightening it could be to change careers, particularly when you aren't sure which direction you are meant to go. Now, almost 9 months into my role as DFO, I can say without hesitation that this is exactly where I was meant to be. It has been interesting. It's been interesting, never dull. Sometimes baffling in the most human way. Being here, working alongside you, learning from you, and witnessing the heart of this community up close has been a gift, and I have tried to meet it all with wide eyes and an open heart. We are a community in transition. This congregation has a rich history reflected in its work, conversations, and actions. My report is shaped by the many moments I have spent with individuals and groups talking about where the congregation was and where we might go next. There are clear areas that need restructuring and reorganizing to meet the changing times and evolving expectations, both organizational and societal. Financial challenges are a real and present concern, one shared by congregations across the country. In a recent conversation with a UUA rep from the annual program fund, we learned how many calls she has received just this week from congregations struggling to meet their financial needs. And a UU admin group, posts over the past couple of months have repeatedly focused on eliminating positions, reducing hours, and even closing buildings during the week to save on expenses. I strongly believe that reducing staff or closing our doors during the week is not the answer. TVUUC has a vibrant mix of groups in our building every day, school groups, musical performance, community action meetings, and so many others who rely on a welcoming space to do their important work in Knoxville and beyond. This daily activity is part of what makes this congregation a living, breathing presence in this community. Cutting expenses can only take us so far. At a certain point, further reductions begin to undermine the very mission we are trying to sustain. And relying solely on increased giving from this congregation to close the gap is equally unrealistic. To thrive, we must pursue a balanced approach that includes thoughtful stewardship, strategic revenue generation, and continued investments in the ministries and spaces that make TVUUC a needed community resource. A large part of my work over the next year will be continuing the collection and documentation of procedures, which is a crucial step in preserving historical and organizational knowledge. I am working on emergency manuals that will be available in each room and will include procedures and measures that incorporate the first aid and CPR training completed by staff and volunteers. In collaboration with multiple teams and committees, we are sorting through the overloaded Realm database, updating language, and creating a more accessible space for the TVUUC community to use as a resource for the wonderful things happening here. With the restructuring of Realm, we will be able to update our website to better serve prospective visitors, inform the wider community about partnership opportunities, and creating a more welcoming, informative, and authentic reflection of who we are and how we serve. I look forward to the growth of the board, committees, and teams at TVUUC. The work leaders and members have been doing to develop clear expectations and roles is paving the way for deeper engagement and greater impact. I anticipate many more conversations and opportunities for collaboration with these groups and individuals, and yes, I will continue to keep snacks stocked in my office for those interactions. Maddie in particular. I quickly want to express my appreciation for the work that often goes unseen, the compassion shown to members in need, the emotional labor of processing challenges, the dirty clothes from digging in gardens and cleaning out closets. TVUC is fortunate to have a staff team filled with bright, passionate leaders who spend countless hours supporting the people and program. So much work goes on behind the scenes to make gatherings like today possible. We are, as I have said, a community in transition. We will stumble, and then we will dust ourselves off through transparent conversations and intentional actions and keep moving forward together. Thank you.
Hello. I know most of you. I am Catherine Farmer-Loya, your Director of Lifespan Religious Exploration. I'm really grateful to be here. This summer marks 10 years that I've served this congregation, which is hard to believe. And it marks 25 years of my serving this faith in UU congregations as a full-time religious educator. And so I am grateful every day to be able to spend my professional life with this community. As we wrapped up the RE program year on Sunday mornings a few weeks ago, we asked kids and youth to share their thoughts with us about being part of TVUUC, and I want to share with you just a few of the things that we heard. They want adults in this church to know that at TVUUC, you are opened up to learning about other people and acceptance of others that creates a better community. It's really fun, and we like playing together. It's kind and it's loving. These kids experience TVUC as an inclusive community where anyone can be themselves without judgment. One kid shared with us that the adults here, and this is a direct quote, care about the kids as much as the grown-ups. We've got a voice and everything. That's my favorite part of the church. And they told us that it feels very welcoming, that it's good to know you're part of something, and that it feels good to be part of people who are nice to other people. This happens because of the resources and the time and the passion that the members of this community pour into engaging with and nurturing and listening to and including our young people as full participants in this community. All of you have made this church's religious exploration programs for all ages vibrant and thriving, and you should know that we are looked at as a leader in the UU world, and we are frequently contacted by other congregations who want us to share about our programs, about the curricula that we've developed, about how we integrate storytelling and worship with what we're doing in all of our spaces. We are understood to be a flagship for doing what the UUA is now calling whole church RE, the idea that we have been working on for a very long time, that we are one community of all ages who sometimes do things together, sometimes do things in separate groupings, but that always relates back to the whole. This year, in our Sunday morning children and youth programs, we had 88 kids registered, and our max and our minimum attendance days are significantly higher than in the past. That's one of the things that tells us that our attendance is more consistent, that we are growing. We just had 33 kids and youth ages 5 to 16 here this week for our Community Builders Camp that folks in the service today heard a little bit about. If you are here in the building and have not yet gone to the fellowship hall today, you can see much of the cardboard community construction that our campers made this week. I encourage you to go take a look. More than 40 TVUUC volunteers during the year help make all of our programs possible. We offer the Our Whole Lives sexuality education program for 7th and 8th graders, and for the first time, 10th through 12th graders this year, and we will offer the kindergarten and first and the 4th and 5th grade levels next year. We have a wide variety of adult RE offerings throughout the year, and more people keep coming to us with things they want to share with adults in the congregation, and we're delighted to support the growth of those programs as well. And I want to say, too, that I am deeply grateful for the staff team that we have here. I know that you see the way the staff operates, and the staff colleagues that I have, I know that you see and appreciate them, and what you see is just the tip of the iceberg for what these folks do for this community. I see a little bit more, and there's a lot that I don't see as well, but I think we have just an incredible, stellar team across the board here, and so thank you. It is a gift to serve this community and to continue to do so, and we are thriving. Thank you.
Hello, I am David Asbury, the music director here, and our program is thriving as well. We have so many volunteers, and that is the core of our music program. And this year we've been able to add some new things. We've had a concert band several times, and we tend to keep doing that. And we have been able to buy some new gear due to some wonderful recurring donations that we're very thankful for. We now have a stage box back there and up here, which allow us to route the sound more easily and more cleanly. We have been able to buy some very nice choral microphones that make the choir sound as good online as they do in person. And we have also been able to have a paid member of the brass group on a regular basis coming in, which helps us sustain that part. And we also, because of those donations, feel ready to do a pilot program of what my big dream would be for the choirs, which would be to have section leaders. And so next year I hope to have a couple of paid section leaders that we can count on to help the choir out on a weekly basis. And anything else? Oh yes, wow, we're so thankful to work with RE this year and be able to have a children's choir. We had a student from UT reach out and she was able to use our program to accomplish some of her course credit requirements, and she was able to provide us with a children's choir, and that was wonderful. So I'd like to thank you all again, especially all of you musicians who do a lot both in the room and behind the scenes. There's been a lot of technical talk that has gone into making the music sound good here and online, and I'm thankful for all of you volunteers, and thanks to be a part of this program.
I also just want to applaud our staff because it's a great team. It's not just great individual performers, it's a great team, and we saw that with our religious education camp this week where the whole team was pulling together to make that happen. But that happens over and over again. We all pitch in at different times and work together as a team to make things happen. This year is really my first full year of being able to focus mainly on preaching, teaching, pastoral care, and community leadership. And it has been quite effective. It's been easier for me to leave a meeting to go have a pastoral care appointment or a visit. And we are really the size where the UUA recommends you have an assistant minister of pastoral care. So since we don't have one, making that something I can do and the other members of the management team pick up. So another example of great teamwork. I want to applaud the congregation for taking risks. The American religion is still struggling with what it means to be church after the pandemic. Many congregations lost half their kids as part of the pandemic, and some, for that reason, got rid of that related staff. Those congregations do not have Sunday schools anymore. They don't have youth groups anymore, and they can't get them started again. This church took a different path. We remain committed, as we always have from 1949. This is a church for all generations, and I just felt the power of that this week with our Sunday school camp. So the big thing we focused on this year in a pastoral thing is not only what we do, but how we do it and why we do it. How we treat each other as we do the work of the church. You can cram certain decisions down the throat of a congregation or a committee, or you can lead that way, but I will tell you my experience in Unitarian Universalism is whenever you do that, regurgitation happens. And so focusing on how, and there's where Maddie and Lynn have been very proactive in focusing on the covenant, choosing the children's language because it's simpler and more concise to get us to focus on how we treat each other. It is a challenging time in American religion, and by most measures, we are doing good. Stewardship for Us came through, and they have the comparison of what other congregations in Unitarian Universalism are doing, and we are a leadership congregation. That's not just me, speaking BS. That's found in the stewardship report. That is really who we are. But it means we've had to take risks. Right now, what's happening in American religion is there are a lot of expensive buildings on Kingston Pike with much smaller congregations than they used to have. Second Pres is closing. Second Pres was a leadership congregation when I came to town, doing a lot of good things, but it was not what they did, but how they did it. There was a lot of conflict. There was a lot of interpersonal discord, and by not only focusing on what we do, but how we do it, church conflict is very deadly. So I want to applaud our leadership for focusing on how we do things. The other thing I will say, and this is a cautionary tale for all of us, flat salary in this environment is a pay cut. And we have an excellent staff. And every time you lose a staff member, you spend about $10,000 in all the costs it takes to replace a staff member. So I hope this is the last year we have something like that, because if you save money there, you end up spending money on the other end. And that's what it's going to take to revive religion, not only in Unitarian Universalism, but all across the country. It's focusing on the community and not just the building. The community, the people, and how we treat each other is the critical thing in this juncture in the history of American religion. And also, in August, 25 years as your senior minister.
Thank you to all of our management team for those reports. And now we'll hear from Rich Davis for the Endowment Fund Committee.
Hi, I'm Rich Davis, and I'm chair of the Endowment Committee, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about the committee's work this year. But first, a few words about the fund itself. I know a number of you have heard these words before, but I think it's really important. So, the Endowment Fund was established to provide long-term financial stability to TVUUC. The fund is an investment in the future of the church. It can potentially provide funds in case of emergency or other need for significant funds in the future. And the fund also pays current dividends. It can fund projects of lasting value to the church community that are beyond the scope of TVUUC's annual operating budget that was just discussed. Some highlights. Financially, the calendar year 2025 and the first quarter of 26, the fund has shown reasonable growth, though there was volatility, I think you understand. Ending balance as of 12/31/24 was $905,051. Ending balance as of April 30, 2026 was $1,049,947.86. So far this year, as of April 30, gifts to the fund have totaled $4,495. Some are recurring gifts, many are gifts in memory of a loved one. Although the endowment fund is growing, it's important to emphasize that ongoing donations and legacy gifts are critical to the continued growth of the fund and therefore the long-term health of the church. How do we manage this money? The committee has a fiduciary responsibility to prudently manage all the endowment funds. The money is now invested in 2 balanced Vanguard funds intended to gain investment income while protecting us from undue risk. The committee regularly monitors investment performance. How can the church community benefit from the fund now? The committee can recommend expenditure of some funds for projects to benefit the church. These projects must be non-routine and provide lasting value to the church. Some funded projects have included TVUUC music and choir modernization and furniture upgrades. Hard for me to see that. As well as technology upgrades. See the endowment fund pages on TVUUC website for some photos and more information. And can I have that? The committee is empowered to recommend the expenditure of up to approximately 4% of the fund's total value, a widely accepted endowment spending model intended to preserve principal while spending some of the fund's income. This year, there was a blossoming of proposals submitted for funding by the committee, more than a dozen, twice as many as last year. After evaluating the submitted proposal, this year the committee, with the board's concurrence, approved the distribution of $32,599 for 6 projects. So these are past projects funded through the endowment fund. Classroom A, renovation. I think most of you have actually seen that, been down the RE corridor. I hope you have. And of course the lobby display, that's changed quite often, and I think it's a really nice addition. So this is the work in progress, improved lighting, and I know that's already been mentioned. That's actually in progress. There have been some bulbs that have been changed out, so you'll see a difference as time goes on. And of course, the CDJL is a past project, and It started out with about 45 books, I believe, 50 books, something like that, and now there are more than 3,000. And this is one of the new projects. You can see the before and after with Jillian, with her new computer, so she can actually, it doesn't take forever for things to show up on her screen now. And also Mark, I think, has already gotten another computer, so that is in progress. The Ailanthus tree eradication, I think probably all of you have noticed that there are a number of trees that have disappeared between the church and the youth center parking lot. These trees are really deleterious and a problem. And it's a project that actually got more money than any of the other projects. The committee voted to give them the requested $15,000, partly because the people who submitted the proposal had already located $6,000. Oh, yes, sorry. $6,000 towards the project itself. And one of the good things that's come out of this is not only the disappearance of the trees, which is ongoing, unfortunately. There's going to be continued work on this, but a relationship that's developed with the youth board, the youth center, what is it called? Teen, yeah, the teen center. And so there might actually be a way that that space can be used by both of us in the future. So, talked about the trees, the computer upgrades. There's also another project that is just beginning, and that is new signage for the church. We got 3 different proposals for building identity projects, and so that's in the works right now. And one thing I did want to mention, the Memorial Garden refresh, which requested $1,790, although the total estimated cost was $3,250. Much of the difference had already been pledged by the Bing family and friends. So that reduced the total cost to the church, to the fund. So the committee will be seeking proposals from the congregation this fall, with applications available on the TVUUC website. I encourage everyone to consider supporting the endowment fund with a donation, as well as submitting a proposal for a project for the benefit of the church. And finally, I want to welcome our new member nominee, Kent Looney, assuming the congregation has concurred, and thank Taylor Thomas for agreeing to stand for a second term as treasurer. I also do want to welcome Rob Richardson as the new board liaison to the committee. And finally, I want to recognize the hardworking members of the committee itself. Bill Cherry, who completes his 1-year tenure of the committee. Did the pictures of the party come up there? It was his idea to turn his annual Halloween party into a endowment fund fundraiser. And it was very successful, held at the church. We enjoyed it. And whether or not he is able to attend next year, he has suggested, and we, the committee, agreed that it will be, we hope, a permanent fixture. So, as a fundraiser. So there's Bill Cherry, Taylor Thomas, Jane Rapparelli, Jennifer Maples, Pat Bing, Sarah Weaver, and the non-voting board appointee, Steve Drevick. Thank you so much for your service and help this year. Thank you.
Rich, and now we'll hear from the Building and Grounds.
Good afternoon. I'm Dick Trowbridge, the chair of the Building and Grounds. Building and Grounds has been reformed. The current members are myself as chair, Don Horton, Ken Stevenson, Barbara Lamb, and Roy Kersey, who is going to become a member. News to you, probably. We have done a number of things and started a number of projects. We had a work day this last April. We had about 35 members show up, and we actually rented a dumpster and cleaned out the storage room over here, the electrical room, stuff in back, and did a lot of work outside, actually. We hope to have another work day in the fall and continue to have a spring and fall work day every year. There's a lot of jobs that need to be done in the church that can be done by volunteers, and we do not have the money to hire out most of these jobs. So this is a way to make the church function a little bit better. This project's underway. The Building and Grounds gets very involved with the endowment projects, so you did notice the trees coming down in the front here. That in the future, we're going to have to deal with what's left after the trees come down. And there are various options for that. We're going to see what happens in the future. We're going to be putting in a new handicap ramp in the front here. We've had some holdups with the city for permits, but that will be happening. Also, we're going to be fixing the lights in the fellowship hall, which you might have noticed have been going out one by one. That will be fixed in the next month or two. Also, in the future, we're going to reorganize or renovate the flower table storage area off of the hallway. That's going to be funded outside the regular budget, as we don't have money for a lot of these projects that we like to do. And if anybody wants to volunteer to help out with any of these projects or possibly be on the committee, you can let me know, or actually Barbara over there. Also, I'm going to be setting up a table in the fellowship hall periodically, so you can come by if you have any suggestions or if you want to volunteer. We are looking for volunteers, particularly younger people. That's about it. There's a lot of maintenance that needs to be done in the church that has been delayed. The church is getting older, and things are, as any house owner would know, are starting to fall apart or deteriorate. So hopefully in the future we can get a handle on some of these things. Thank you.
Thank you, Dick. And now we'll hear an update from Devin Alley for Strategic Planning Committee.
Hello. On behalf of the Strategic Planning Committee, I would like to offer all of you our most sincere gratitude for taking part in our visioning process over the past few months. At our last congregational meeting, I shared information about the visioning process, and I invited you all to put on your different caps, thinking, dreaming, loving, spiritual, and legacy, as you came into conversation with various members of the Strategic Planning Committee while we visioned the future of TVUUC together. I am so excited to share that as of this date, we have completed Visioning Circle conversations with 102 of you. Yay! We cannot thank you enough for your support and commitment to helping us build and create our shared vision for our beloved TVUUC community. Still, we're greedy and we want more. You should see communication coming to an inbox near you, inviting anyone who has not yet shared their vision with us to answer the 4 visioning questions online. If you have not had the chance to speak to us in person, we deeply encourage you to please take the chance to share your vision virtually. It is so vitally important that as we craft this vision, it includes the voice of every congregant and every member of our community. And yes, that includes even our youngest congregants. And yes, that vision might be an additional RE room with an aquarium full of goldfish snacks. Every perspective is important and cherished and needs to be included as part of our visioning process. Please take the time to fill out this questionnaire when it comes your way. Once we've gathered the final data from the visioning questionnaires and circles, we will complete the process of analyzing the key themes and shared ideas. We will use a combination of skilled human data analysts, and the mindful and careful application of AI as we comb through the comments and responses. The Strategic Planning Committee will draft a vision statement for TVUUC based on the analysis of this data, and we hope to share that statement for congregational comment by the end of 2026. And, fingers crossed, we'll have a new vision statement up for a vote at our next congregational meeting. Thank you again for your care and commitment to supporting this visioning process. We see you, we hear you, and we love you.
All right, last thing, I'm just going to give a quick update on the report that we did receive from Reverend Sarah Green that was here in January. The board has received her report. We've been reviewing it internally and sharing it with other leaders throughout the church. We're going to do that a little bit more as we get some new leaders coming into the new fiscal year. And once we've done that, we're going to kind of collate some responses, come up with maybe a basic action plan on some of her suggestions, and then we will be sharing that more widely with the congregation. So we just wanted you all to know that we are working on that, and we'll be able to share it as soon as we've gathered some feedback from some folks in leadership positions. So hopefully if we have a mid-year meeting, I'm hoping, but don't hold me to that. We will see. But that's all I had for that. I'm going to let Devin provide our election results, and then we're out of here.
All right, and now for the results. The January congregational meeting minutes were approved with 99% support. The program council charter was approved with 96% support. The leadership development committee charter was approved with 98% support. Whenever you have an addition to a bylaw, you require a 2/3 majority, and I am pleased to say that the addition to TVUUC bylaws, Article 1, Section 4, was approved with 99% support. The budget, yes, I think that deserves an applause, yes. The budget for the 2026-2027 fiscal year was approved with 95% support, and our total full slate of candidates passed with at least 96% support per candidate. Thank you.
All right. Forget how much shorter Devin is than I am. Okay, just the last couple words from me. When I took up the position of president around this time last year, I set a goal for myself to firstly reestablish trust within the leadership of this church. I have confirmed as of this morning and feel very confident in saying that we've made some great strides in that direction, and that I think that goal has been declared a success. I hope to further that trust building as we work together this upcoming year to set a firm foundation for the growing work of this congregation. We are realizing that some of the ways we've always done things aren't necessarily possible in our current day, and I look forward to starting work that will help us move forward as a strong and healthy community. And as we wrap things up, I would just like to say that I'm very grateful to everyone who has been leading, and am looking forward to working with those who are continuing to lead and have been newly elected to their positions this year. And we will now extinguish our chalice with these words, which are companion words to the words we opened with, called Companions in Covenant. As we extinguish this flame, let us carry its glow into the choices ahead. Happiness grows not from comfort, but from connection, from feeling valued to ourselves and others, from enlarging our sympathies, from embracing a life of affection and purpose. So let this meeting not end in exhaustion, but in a quiet triumph, the kind that comes from showing up, from listening deeply, from shaping the world, however slightly, with compassion and intent. We go forward not alone, but as companions in covenant, tending to the common good with hope, with humor, and with heart. And this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you all.